Hi guys, how are you doing? There's a lot to discuss, guys, and right now we are here as usual based on our daily analysis. And before we get into the deep analysis right now, I would be sharing some of the stuff with you that would be creating much of a difference. So, right here, you can see that tomorrow, that is today, that is Friday, at 8:30 a.m., that is the Eastern Standard Time, we would be having the employment change for the Canadian dollar and unemployment rate for the Canadian dollar. Along with that, we would be having average hourly earning and non-farm employment change, that is NFP, that is the major data uh, that comes out every month on the first week, and as well as the unemployment rate for the United States. So this is like one of the most important data where we can see the high impact of the volatility, and most expectation is we would be getting deep into it that there would be good amount of volatility. First, let's check like the Canadian dollar, that employment change, that is the change in the number of the employed people during the previous month. So it is vital economic data that is released after the end of the month, and uh, kind of like a leading indicator for the consumer spending and majority of the economic activity. So job creation kind of like helps with the consumer spending. So more the jobs would be created, more people would be spending their money. So unemployment rate is the percentage of the total workforce that is unemployed and actually seeking the employment during the previous month. So these are the people who are kind of like seeking their jobs. Average hourly earning is the change in the biz- price businesses pay for the labor, excluding the farming industry. So it's kind of like the the prices which businesses pay for the labor to hire the labor, and it is a leading indicator for the consumer inflation. When businesses pays more money for the labor, the higher costs are usually passed out on the consumer. So it is kind of like a sense that businesses kind of like pay more towards the people to hire to do their work, and which is passed on to the consumer. So of course, like end result would be affecting the consumer. So this is the data that will be coming for the businesses to pay for the labor. And then we have that non-farm employment change, the change in number of the people employed during the previous month. So it is like a vital economic data released shortly after the month's end, and combination of the importance of earliness of the month. Job creation is an important leading indicator for consumer spending. So it is kind of like uh, the most important data that actually comes out, which has like a highest impact, that number of people employed during the previous month. So then unemployment rate, which we have discussed above, is the total workforce that is unemployed and seeking actively for the job. So here we have like a consumer sentiment. That's kind of like a survey that happens. So the level of the composite index based on the surveyed consumers, and the the survey is about 420 consumers, which ask the respondents to the rate of the level of the relative level of the current and future economic conditions. And there are two versions of the data released 14 days apart, uh, preliminary, revised. So kind of like revised is the last one. So it's kind of like a preliminary right now. And similarly, like the inflation expectation is the percentage that consumer expect the prices of the good and services to be changed in next 12 months. And it is also released. It kind of like is released 14 days apart from the revised one, and there's like 420 consumers that asked the respondent for the future changes in the price. So it's kind of like a really important data that is coming out around about like, if we start working around like 7 o'clock in the morning to around like 12 o'clock afternoon, that would be a great action that we can actually like expect. And even after like 2 o'clock till 3 o'clock or to 4 o'clock, we can expect like a good movement as well, like, in the continuation of these moves. So we have to be really careful. There's a lot of opportunity out here. People try to like double their account and these kind of data that actually comes out. So let's see the numbers out there that what actually we can expect. So the number of the people employed in the during the previous month, and we can see that an actual number is greater than the forecasted. So the thing is that last month like it was 90K, and this time it's like 25K. Of course there could be certain kind of changes which are happening in the Canadian dollar right now. They are like in a tariff war with United States, so there might be some of the impact that could actually occur in that case. So let's see like there's much of a difference that is coming, so we can keep our eyes on like Canadian dollar as well. Secondly, unemployment rate is the number of people who are seeking the jobs, and the actually less than the forecast is good for the currency. So seems like it might remain same, because there is like if this number increases, there would be like a bad for the data. So if this data also is bad, this data is also bad for the Canadian dollar. So most likely the Canadian dollar can get weaker. On the other hand, the rates around by like the hourly earning rate has been same. If we kind of like see the level around like let's see for the December, it's around the same. Not much of a changes that we can actually like encounter in here. And similarly, non-farm payroll, there is like a good number of change, like 250k people, 256 people, k people were like we saw that so many people were got employed in Jan, because it was maybe the start of the year. So now it might be decreasing. And similarly, the unemployment rate remained the same. So it's around about like 4.1, 4.2, 4.3 max from the past 5 months. So secondly, like the consumer expectations is uh, is more is more likely to be getting better according to the data. So last time it was 73.2, and it's kind of like weird that why it is revised from, okay, so the preliminary was like 73.2, but revised is 73.2, but this is preliminary, right, which is being shown in here. You see that it says that revised from. So it's kind of like they maybe like they decreased it or something. So similarly, it is revised from 207k, right? So these are the certain expectations. We don't have like the forecasted value for the inflation expectations, but actually executor is good than the forecasted one, so we don't have that forecast. So it's kind of like a lot of data that is coming out that is really high impact. We have to be like super careful when we are just dealing with this stuff out there. So most people double their account usually in this kind of manner, but it's really important to see that we don't work like that. We just work with the proper planning, proper understanding, and do things which make sense. So always work with the risk management plan. Don't hustle and hurry that you need to handle this, enter into this move. Because let's take an example. Like for example, this is the market that is like happening, acting like that. And when NFP data comes out, things like happen like that. And or if the market is like that, and this is the NFP. These are the moves which kind of like people take. What are the side effects for it is that either the spreads are super increased, or sometimes there is a move like on the downside really big, and then price move on the upper side. People get stopped out up here. Sometimes prices never return whenever the prices go in NFP. And there is another thing that uh, sometimes like due to the less liquidity, trades aren't even closed. You just like start pressing the close button for the trade, and trade won't get closed. So it's really important, guys, that whatever decision and whatever like the plan you have is must be followed. Because this thing, it's like really heartbreaking when it comes to like NFP. So really be careful about this, and it's a big warning for you guys. Let's get deep into the study, that what is actually happening up here. So this is DXY right now. We have been like discussing this DXY from quite a long time now. So this was like the movement that happened, kind of like here we kind of like started looking at that it's gonna get bearish, and similarly it started going on the bearish side like that. After that, price went down, breaking this point, taking the liquidity around here. Price went up, pushed back, pulled back down, and we just saw this kind of move. So these type of the move which we see here is kind of like a 2 week move, and it's really like confusing in a sense that the price was pushed on the upper side and then it came back directly down there. So what I want to see is the weekly candle. This is how the weekly candle actually developed. So it's kind of like a 1 week move in a sense that price went up to this point, and then you see price opened around here, went up, and now it's coming back around here. So this is how the weekly candle actually looks like, and it's really difficult to trade whenever you're dealing with this type of stuff. So what it actually like represents that around about like this part was like the week first, and then this was a new week which went up and which came back down. It is kind of like a 1 week move, and we can actually see that this is like the Monday's candle. This was basically the Fridays, right? So if we see like really a genuine understanding about like what really happened, and just a sec guys, let me see here from this is where the Monday is starting right here. So this is the move that was like a previous daily candle, and after that this candle, this is the next week candle right here in front of you. This is what we are dealing with. So you see like this was the previous week, kind of like quite choppy and unable to understand. And then after that, this is another candle right here, another weekly candle right here in front of you. So this was the opening price of the candle right here, and this is the closing price of the candle right here, and this is the body of the candle up here in front of you that I'm just currently making. This is the low of the candle, and this is the high of the candle. So this is the weekly candle, which is kind of a red candle right now. So I'm gonna like fill it so that it shows that it's bearish candle. So this is the candle which you're looking at the weekly level right now. So what actually, this is what actually it looks like, which I kind of like demonstrated. So it's not kind of like a super analysis. In that case, we need to like analyze the stuff in a different way. So for now we can see that this is the level which I have been like telling you about, that it is really important level because it's 107500 level up here. You see right here 107500, directly a round number. That's why I was considering this level rather than this level. And you see that how the prices reacted around here, pulled back, and right now prices are moving on the upside. It might be a 3 candle retracement, and then price might like continue on the downside. But on the other hand, I currently feels like this it actually shows that it's kind of like a peak formation low right here, and we can see that we have enough bullish momentum right here. 2 candle pullback, and it's like move on the upside, 2 candle retracement, and then price can go on the upper side, giving us a 1 to 3 pattern move. So we are expecting, I'm personally expecting that NFP, if it all depends upon the data, guys. So what we need to do is actually, this is the high, this is the low. So right now, rather than like trading in between this range, we can actually wait for the breakout on each of the side, because how to trade NFP is like you need to actually wait, guys. You need to like, what I personally do is that I kind of like the let the price action do its stuff, because when the data comes we can't actually predict what it would be coming. So most people like try to like estimate the movement or like predict the movement based on their probabilities that it would go bullish or it would go bearish, but the idea is that nobody actually knows where it would go. So the thing is, it's better for like the move to happen first. So if, for example, if the move, if we see like in the morning, for my morning, not your morning, but for me, it's like around about like 1:13 a.m. right now. So I'm working at the midnight, but the idea is that if we see a move like that happens, if it happens, it happens. Either like some people would be putting their buy stops here, right? And looking for the move. What I personally believe, it if it has happened, let let the price pull back a little bit, right? If there's a bigger breakout, for example, let the price give like a small pullback around here, and then price can continue on the upper side. But for example, sometimes what really happens that if this is the range right here, so what the prices would be doing is that prices might go down like that, taking going down, maybe like taking the liquidity around here, and then might be pushing on the upper side like that. So in that case, guys, your stop losses, most people who would be like putting the sell stops right here, their stops would be triggered. They wouldn't be able to even close the trade, and it would be going against them, and the trade might get closed around here or might get closed around here based on the liquidity out there. So it's really difficult to trade this kind of like momentum based news. So the thing is that either your entry should be like pre you might have like taken, or for example, if your buy stops are like for example, if your buy stops are placed, so what will happen, like for example, this is the range, and this is the point where you have placed your buys around here, buy stops around here. So when the price would be coming to this buy stop, your order might not even get filled here, it might get filled here. So see, if your orders get filled here and your stop loss is underneath right there, so the how big the distance get, so you would be paying the higher prices, and then prices gonna hover here and might like come down like that. So it's an intense scenario. You need to think each and everything about here, about that. For now onwards, like, the thing is that simply this is the range and this is the range, and if we get a breakout around here, then we can expect a move, and similarly if we get a breakout there, we can get a move. And but overall, if we see, the dollar is still bullish, uh, although it's like a big statement from my side right now. But the thing is that prices haven't even like taken these lows. So it's kind of like, if the prices aren't even like taking these lows, so this is a low point, this is a high point, and this is a lower, this is the higher low, and then whatever the scenario happens, this must be the higher high, and then this would be a higher low, and this is how the prices would be like. I'm sorry, this is the lower high. This would be the lower high right here. This is the low, this is the high, right? So let's do it in a different form. This is the low, this is the high, this is the lower high. Prices goes up, this forms higher higher high. This would be the higher low. My bad. This would be the higher low, and this would be the higher high. So you see right here, although there is a certain Price came back down there. It is forming the lower lows. Based on that, this is the high, this is the low, this is the lower high, and this is the lower low then. So this is how like the price is moving, and it's kind of like a overall range situation right here. So it's a bit complicated to say that how the prices would be reacting right now. I believe that this is the range. So most important thing is that this is the range right here, and I want to place my alert above here so that we can actually 079 097. So this is the alert above here. So if the price is kind of like breaks through it, so we can get a better understanding after that. So similarly guys, moving further, USD CAD, we have been like we have seen that USD CAD has made like a similar structure as DXY right here, and prices came back down here, took the liquidity, couldn't break this level similar to DXY, and came back a little bit, and now it's kind of like pushing on the upper side like that. So let's see how things look like, but it seems like if it is kind of like a inverted head and shoulder pattern that is being developed right now like this. So this is the level, this is the neckline above here. So let's wait till something happens around here so that the prices can be pushed on the upper side for the dollar. If it is in real upside move for the dollar, so we can actually like see it. So just the same thing. If the DXY breaks on the upper side, the CAD will be breaking on the upper side. USD CHF has given us a good reaction around this point. Then we had an order block right here that is highlighted above here in this level, and you see there was like a good amount of fight between buyers and sellers right here. So each candle is like my 4-hour candle right here. So 4 4 8, and this is 12, and then in the 16th hour the price kind of like broke out. So it's a lot of waiting sometimes in trading guys. So it's not easy to like wait that long. 16 hours, after 16 hours the price kind of like broke the structure, and right now it's kind of like pushing on the bullish side. So it looks, these kind of like other pairs, like this is USD CHF, it kind of like also helps us to like find the correlation between for the DXY or the dollar move. And right now it seems like the dollar is getting stronger from this point of view. And let's see how the price reacts around here. This is an order block, another order block, because when the prices were coming down, prices went up and went down. Secondly, here we do have like imbalance in between this point, so most likely the price is going to fill this imbalance, and then they might react around this point. So I think the alert has been placed on the right position, so that's good. Then we have USD JPY right here in front of you. Prices went really down after we have been discussing it yesterday. I just like discussed really in the detail that this was an order block, then this was an order block that kind of like pushed the prices on the downside, and you see right here prices broke out, went down, and continuously has been like in the downtrend right here. And now the question is that is this the low? And that is kind of like really difficult thing to tell right now, until unless like we find a proper classified structure so that we can actually like say that this is the low or not. So for that reason, let's consider this as a low right now, and later on we can see that how kind of like prices reacts around that. So there might be like in NFP the prices might start going on the upper side like that. So if this kind of like move happens around NFP around this level, then we can actually like take our positions around this point for the safe entry. And we have to be really careful in our timing, because Friday then there would be closing, and you just have seen that how closing affect are affecting these kind of gaps that are being formed specifically here. So this is the full gap that had formed, and you can see right here that when it formed, so this was the Friday of 31st Jan, and this is like a opening for the Sunday, because for me, like on Sunday 4 a.m. there is an opening that happens for the market. So see how big drop it was and how much account has been suffered around these points. Those people who were like kind of like place their longs around here and then waiting for the price to go back up, because in this kind of drawdown the account just gets like 10 to 20 or 50% lower for some people. So right now what ended up happening, that prices kind of like reached to this point and they started reacting, and we just can know and understand that the structures on the sell side, right? But we can see certain swings out here. So this was the low point, this was the high point. Prices came back down here to this point, and then we also have the break of structure around here, and as well as like the reaction of the prices is on the lower side. So this is the move that happened actually. Then prices went up. So let me make it clear for you guys. Like this kind of like move which happened around here. This is the move which I'm talking about. This is a move that happened. So when the price is pushed on the upper side like that, prices kind of like started reacting around here, because where we have like another high point like a wick. So prices when reached to it, unable to break this point, started reversing around here, and here we see a clear break of structure. And now when prices went up, we can see a move like that. So most likely it seems like for right now, like this euro USD is quite inversely correlated with DXY, so that's why we are seeing this kind of move. And here, if the price starts breaking on the further downside, we can just see that the prices can continuously going on the downside further. Similarly, Euro GBP, here we can see that this after the interest rates of the pound were released yesterday, this Euro GBP got this strength, and prices came back down there and currently like holding around this level. But we can actually like see that this gap has been filled. And secondly, really important stuff is that we do have a liquidity up here. Most people like would be trying to sell this, and most sell orders would have had been like placed around here. So that's why like market might go a little bit on the downside and then can push on the upper side further if the euro gets more stronger than the pound. Right now, guys, it's a bit complicated to say that how things are, because these are like an undeveloped price action right now. Euro odd, we were looking at this level that prices kind of like reacted around here. We did got a big reaction around with this engulfing, and the price continued the swing like that, and this was kind of like a good trade around here, or even entering around here would have like given us a good profit on the downside. So the prices are currently reacting around that point. Although we can remove this level, it's not an important level anymore. But let's keep it until the NFP actually passes. We can change on the next week. Similar structure, Euro NZD prices has been like still after breaking around this point. We did got a good reaction around here, pulled back, and right now like running on the downside like that. So might take further down on the lows. Euro CAD has been like a good player around here. So this is the kind of a structure which we are looking at. Prices came back down there. went further, tried pushing back up, came here, still the price is stuck within this range. So this was the ideal range right here, so that if the prices reaches around here, then we can see a reaction for the top, or then most likelihood is that we do have like a break of structure around here. So if we align ourselves with that, we can expect a sell side structure after maybe in the next week. So it all depends upon like NFP right now. Similarly, Euro JPY, the prices has went down there, kind of like making a structure. Because it's NFP, that's why I'm kind of like considering the lows as the important structures for now onwards. Because the thing is simple, that because guys, NFP is there, so that's why we have to like consider certain lows, because there would be a good boost of pumps out there. And Euro CHF right now within the range. This is a good push that happened today. And in the morning before the interest rates were released, price were sitting here, and this is the opening. This is the move which we saw with the specifically with the interest rates. The price pushed on the downside because the pound Bank of England kind of like cut their interest rates, and then we saw this kind of like move happening right now based on the DXY as well, that is kind of like getting stronger. So we might see a reaction before the NFP till this point. Looks good. Secondly, the most important thing that why I mentioned this setup as the best setup is that this highs has been taken. The highs in this case hasn't been taken in any other pair with this kind of move, because when you see this kind of move in the other pairs, the price if this kind of move in the other pairs, the prices went down, but price there are certain reactions happening around this point in other pairs like Euro, Aussie, Kiwi, and in the pound specifically, the liquidity has been taken. So because we also had the data for the pound coming, so market kind of like aligns itself with the data, and it's really important point right now. And we see that price kind of like pushed from the bottom towards the upside, but getting a reaction around here. So this is what this current scenario looks like. Similarly, in GBP odd, we got a good break on the downside, and this is a good setup, guys. If it kind of works, I believe that I would be looking for the moves in GBP Aussie. It's for 7th Feb. Why I would be looking here, that we did got a good break of structure from this neckline, and you see that how the good traders would not be missing this move, guys. This is a neckline around here. So any sort of like a push on the upper side can give us a continuation trade on the downside. Can be a good healthy move. Secondly, we do have like a sell structure around here. Although this went up, pushed back down, but gave us a good break around here. So any sort of like a good pullback or swing structure around there can give us a move on the downside. Really a good setup. I would really prefer that if we kind of like work in that, but have to be really careful with this pair, because like GJ, GBP Aussie is kind of like really fast mover. Similarly, in GBP and ZD, we did got a break like from this point. Same structure around here. Prices might like react. We can get a move around this point. So for that reason, we do have an imbalance right there in front of us. So prices like might reach to this top and can give us a move for the further downside after filling up these imbalances. So kind of like really a familiar thing happening around here. a good setup. Pound gonna give us a good setup tomorrow because the price action is quite clear. GBP CAD, similar structure that happened. Price kind of like broke a small corrective move and prices went down, and prices are kind of like holding around this point right now. So this is there was an order block right here. You see like the order block kind of like was drawn on the 1 hour time frame in the previous days, and we we are getting a reaction around here. That's a good point. So the thing is that now this is an important level right here because we do have an imbalances in this point. This is an imbalance around here, so prices might like fill this up and then form a double bottom around here and then might creep on the downside. A good setup again. GBP CAD, a good setup. Pounds are like literally favorable right now. So GBP JPY at at last, guys, like I was able to like enter the trade around here. I took my profits around here, and then you can see that prices has been like moving continuously on the downside. After that, this was the weekly low right here that I was like considering it from this point, but we can kind of like broke this level now. So let's see that how kind of like price kind of reacts around this point. Still a lot of bearish momentum out here. This imbalance has been filled. This hasn't been filled right yet. So might be getting a reaction around that point up here. So for that reason, I would be placing my alert right here in order to like see that if we can get a hand on the structure. GBCHF is kind of like a difficult structure right here. Although we are in like a small swings on the downside, prices went down, but it kind of like moving on the upper side right now. See, this was the imbalance that has been filled, and right now prices are reacting around here. So this is also a imbalance that is kind of like filled. So price might react around this point and move further on the downside. Really important, guys. This is the trade which I have taken already, and it's running. And the logic is it was a difficult trade. Had to wait like quite a long. Can discuss that with you guys. That overall the trend has been like in a downtrend for the Aussie right here. You can see how big it happened, and this is like kind of like a distribution that is happening. This is the distribution that is happening around here. So a lot of liquidity that has been generated around here. So it's a simple trade that kind of like triggered me for this reason that prices went down, prices went up and went down, and after that prices started pushing on the upper side like that, and there was a big move on the downside like that, but it kind of like stopped around this point. Let me make it more bigger for the understanding. I've explained that setup like on my YouTube channel in learners playlist, that how I kind of like got under hold of this setup. So prices went up like that continuously, then prices went down, and when the prices went down, after that prices kind of like this is the high point now, and this is the low point. So prices should have been like, if the price is going up, prices pull back, so they should have like broken this level, continued on the upper side like that for the formation of the trend. But here we can see right here that what end up happening, that prices are unable to like break on the upper side, and when the prices are unable to break on the upper side, we are getting a reaction around this point. So after that, you see right here, the prices came back down, tried to push on the upper side, but got failed around this point, and now we might see a reaction like that, and even like a break on the downside, maybe price reaching around this level further. But this is what I actually think for the Australian dollar right now. That's why I'm just like in a trade, and I can show you in this 1 hour chart time frame that we can discuss that even. So here we can see that, let me zoom out a little bit for you guys. Here we are looking at like this, that prices has been like in the uptrend, although this was a deeper pullback around here. So but after the deep pullback, the prices, see how the prices kind of like broke around here. If the prices would have been reacting around here, we could have like taken a sell position as well. So at this point as well, the let me make it more clean line. So at this point we didn't even get the reaction. We, although the price went into the ranging right here, and then there was a breakout above, price pulled back, continued the upper side. But after that, the price failed to push on the upper side, and we saw a proper break of structure around here. Prices went into the ranging, broke out of the range, but this range isn't that powerful to break the structure from this top. Rather than like prices started reversing around here, although like this can act as an order block right now and push the prices further up, uh, closing out this setup, and that setup could be a wrong setup in that case. But if it kind of like clearly breaks on the downside like that, based on this move that happened, so because this is the high, and prices are unable to like form a proper high around this point, so in that case it might be a retracement for a pullback for the continuation on the upside like that, or we can give it a move on the downside like that. So it's kind of like a bit work in progress right now, although we are getting certain kind of reaction around this point. But we need to actually, what we need to remember is that this is the structure right here that has actually given us a good indication for the break of the structure on the downside. And if you see on the previous side right here, that's a good example that prices couldn't even like break this point. That kind of like triggered the move instead. That's why we saw this kind of reaction. But here we can see that the structure is still holding. The sellers were induced, a lot of sellers were induced, but prices kind of like went on the upper side, failed. And let's see how price kind of reacts around this point. So this is a quick analysis on AUD and ZD. This was like a good trigger point around this point that prices were failed to make high around here, and now prices are still trying to push on the upper side. Although this candle has been like witnessed here on this TFX charts, but on the some charts we don't have this kind of candle, so a bit confused about this kind of move that happened. But overall, what it seems like that uh, if this is a proper break around this, and considering this as a neckline, we can expect a move further on the downside, or there could be a good high amount of probability that prices might reach to this point. And if the prices are unable to break on the upper side and kind of like breaks on the downside, we can expect a move till this point, because these are all imbalances out there that are present. So that's why I do have my alert right set right here. Although it was tempting to take a position around here, I could have like taken a position up here as well, but the setups didn't seem that genuine. So similarly, AUD CAD, it's also giving us a good move around here. We can actually witness that prices kind of like broke out of the structure. Coming back inside the structure, prices is going into the range of accumulation, and right now it's reacting around this range. Might take this position and then go on the downside, but this was an imbalance around here from this candle to this candle, and you see this imbalance is getting filled along with this distribution phase right here. So this is AUD JPY. AUD JPY has been like in a continuous down structure, breaking the structures all over and giving us a move. This was a good move that we could have like captured. Let's zoom it a little bit because it's like one of my favorite setups that I kind of like want to actually work on. Just a sec. Yeah, AUD CAD. AUD CAD is AUD JPY. Prices came back to this neckline right here. Prices went up, pushed back up like that, sudden breakout. After that, prices went up, and then another breakout. And after that, prices went up, and another breakout that happened. So right now, the prices are at this order block right here. We did got a reaction. We might get a move on the downside like that based on the structure that is currently following. AUDCHF, I've been like closely monitoring that. I might had like taken a trade in there in the past, but it kind of like maybe it was Australian dollar or like NZD CHF. So right now it's like the prices kind of went up to this to retest this level based on this break that happened up there. So this was the neckline right here in front of you, and then the prices kind of like broke out, and this was the first touch. Prices went down, and again prices went to retest this level, and we saw this big move on the downside. After that, like it was a good reversal point that happened. Prices started pushing on the upper side, and it has been like a continuation of the push on the upper side like that. And this pullback is a bit deeper than other pullbacks, and you can see that right now prices are holding. And in any case, if the prices comes down and break this level around here, then we can actually like literally expect for a downtrend from that point onwards. So I would be placing my alert right here because it's kind of like a neckline, and I'm much interested in this right now. A good setup that can be formed. NZD USD, we see right here that prices were in a bullish structure, although like it's just a tip of an iceberg that has been like selling all around over from this point. So there's a big selling that happened in it. Right now prices are like in a choppy market around this point, and how it's looking for us is that we have been like pushing on the upper side like that continuously. Prices pulled back, broke this neckline, really important. Right now prices came back to this point, pushed on the upper side, then start coming down. This is a bigger phase neckline right here in front of you, and if price kind of like break out of this or give us a small pullback around this structure, we can expect a move, and here is our entry point if the prices forms the structure like that. So really important in that scenario that if we has to get like a break around this point. So this is a good order block reaction that happened around this point. Prices went down, and we are getting a reaction around this order block, although it's a bit on the upper side right now, but still we are looking at rejections around this point. Most likelihood is that prices will be coming down there, and if further breaks or pullbacks can give us a move like that on the further downside for NZD CAD and NZD Swiss. So This was the neckline right here. There was a break that happened. Price is kind of like tried to pull back a little bit. This is an order block right here in front of you, and we are getting a reaction that might even push the prices on the downside like that. Anyway, like I understand I'm going quick, guys, but it's like we have been discussing it yesterday, so that's what I'm saying. That this is an order block right now that is reacting around this point. So let's see, it might even like continuously push on the downside. On the other hand, we did see a reaction around here, exactly level to level reaction. So there might be a chance that prices can go on the upper side like that, because here you see that prices has been like level to level rejection around this point. AUDCHF, oh sorry, NZDCHF is similarly to the AUDCHF. If we would have like gotten a reaction around this point, it would have been like more good, but might like continue like that. But I am quite like hopeful that it shouldn't do like that, because the thing is, we did had like a break around this point, and if the prices kind of like come back and breaks this structure, we can expect a move on the downside like that, and then further on the downside like that. This could be our first target. Another target is like that. So let's see. CAD JPY, we did got a reaction around this, a little bit of it, but prices are planning to continue on the downside further. This is a small head and shoulder that has been developed right here. So yeah, so in that case, overall, like this side of the trend shows like a bullishness in the market, but kind of like price has been forming lower lows continuously. So most likely what is that if the prices go back up there, there might be a reaction on the downside, and we do have a CAD Canadian dollar news as well tomorrow. So CAD CHF, CAD CHF hasn't given us a reaction like AUD CHF or NZD CHF, so it's kind of like a slow moving player. I understand that, but there are certain times it has moved really fast. So here we do have this money spot up here, and then prices are going on the upwards like that. So in any case, we can expect a bullish move from this side as well on the upper side till this point. We're going to check that later on. And CAD JPY, similarly to the other JPYs, that price is currently like holding around this point. So we do have an imbalance up here, so there we might get a reaction around this point for the continuation on the downside. But there was like if the prices would have like taken this lows, that's where we can actually act. So guys, that's, I think that's the last pair. Yeah. So overall, like the scenario seems to be like much clear for a while, in a sense that we have to like actually understand what the price action says. We did got certain. I am a bit interested in the pair which kind of like made a level to level thing. I want to like find that out. It was maybe like GJ, I guess. Yes. So GJ, the prices are kind of like reacted around this point. So there is much likelihood is that prices might give us a good bullish bump in this London session. So anybody want to like try around here can actually go for it. So that's all guys from this side of me today. Take care.